Hey everyone, good evening. It's Monday evening. I've just dropped my glasses, and so I pray I can see you all. I can see each and every one of you right now. Absolutely, nice and clear. It's Monday evening. It's 8:00 on the East Coast. It's 5:00 on the West Coast, and we're doing another episode of The Death of Huxtable. I'm just stoked about tonight's episode, primarily because it comes right on the heels of Father's Day. We hope all of you fathers out there had an amazing day celebrating with your families. And I know I spent some time talking to my dad yesterday on the phone. It's just an awesome time to celebrate the men in our lives. Speaking of my dad, so in August, we're going to launch we're going to launch a whole new series. We have some feedback all of a sudden. And I know I spent some time talking to my dad yesterday on the phone. There we go. Okay, it was like the whole thing's happened. So yeah, we are launching a new series in August, and my dad will be participating in that series. It's called Passage Home. And it's a really compelling story about the day America killed Social Security, killed currency, closed the border, and sent Blacks back to Africa. So that sounds like a rip-roaring good time. It's a book that I wrote in 2013. It was based on a short story that I wrote in the year 2000. And strangely enough, so many elements of the story just kind of manifest itself, and people were like, oh, you need to re-release the book. And then with this series, folks have been like, oh, you should do this, since it doesn't seem like COVID is going anywhere anytime soon. We'll probably be in this construct for a little while. So I figured, okay, then what we'll do is we'll read that book next. And my dad is going to be reading the patriarch of that particular family in the next series. So we talked about that a little bit yesterday. And so my Father's Day was starting to coach my dad through the next series that we're going to launch, which was pretty awesome. Couple things I want to do before we get started. First of all, I want to introduce you tonight to my fourth and final intern, who has been a personal assistant to me. I know you hear me talk a lot about Laura, because she's the whiz behind the curtain here, moving all the people around and doing all the things. But Jawan Jennings has been an integral part of the success of this project as well, in that he has been responsible for getting all of our panelists and all of our actors scheduled, and making sure they get the proper links to where they need to be here in StreamYard. And he's just been an amazing help to me. And I want to talk to Jawan for a moment. Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's going on?
I just feel like this episode kind of started with, like, as soon as I hit go, it was like I dropped my glasses and I heard feedback and all these sort of things, and then I see your face and I'm like, I'm okay. I'm okay. Because you have my back in that way. Jawan has just been, if I needed a call made, he makes it. If I need an email sent, he's done it. He and Cam and Amarachi have been kind of tag teaming, using my social media platforms to get the word out about this project. We have 2 new articles that will be coming out soon about the project, about what we've been doing. And I'm just so appreciative to Jawan. Jawan, tell us who you are and what you do. And
okay, yeah. So, hey everyone, my name is Jawan Jennings. I'm a senior and a mass comm major at Prairie View University. I'm involved in lots of things. I'm involved in the choir, the PVMU Concert Chorale Choir, and PV Singers. I'm involved in PVMU TV. Shout out to TDV. I'm involved as a radio personnel on KPVU. I'm also a theater guild pin. I'm involved in a lot, y'all. And I'm an actor, singer, and dancer. So yeah.
Easily one of the biggest people I know on my campus. Jawan's going to be joining us on Thursday again as a cast member. He's one of the twins. He's playing one of the twins. If you remember from the show, Sandra and Elvin had a set of twins, Winnie and Nelson, named after the South African civil rights leaders, Winnie and Nelson Mandela. And so we, of course, have a chapter dedicated to the twins, and Jawan will be one of the two twins on Thursday.
Hey, I'm excited.
Anything you want the audience to know before we push off into the next phase of what we're doing?
More so to you, I just want to thank you for just being who you are and just doing the damn thing every single time. You never miss a mark. You're just so dedicated. You're iconic. Every time I see you, I always say you're iconic. It's nothing. You're iconic.
He really does that, y'all. He's not just saying that because we're having our love fest on the thing. I'm just
I say this. I do this. But I just want to say thank you for keep giving me opportunities and just broadening my horizons.
Oh, brother, thank you. And thank you for just having my back and just, being a part of this awesome team that I have. Yeah, I appreciate you. So, all right, cool. Away with you. And I do want to bring Nate Peterson up and introduce him to you all as well. I know I said I was supposed to introduce him a little bit later on, but I'm excited to introduce you all to the person who will be leading our panel discussion tonight. As promised, tonight's discussion, and again, in celebration of Father's Day and in keeping with the episode we will be reading tonight entitled Russell, Natriez Peterson.
That's it.
He is a fellow cohort member with me in the PhD program at Prairie View A&M University. And it is a challenge.
Yes.
Challenge. But tonight I absolutely wanted the space to be reserved for the fellas, for the men who, we celebrated yesterday and celebrate every day. And so Nate, welcome. Thank you so much for helping me out tonight.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. It's time. It's overdue. Excited that our men have a platform to kind of share our relationships and what we can do to move forward. I think our country is facing two pandemics, the coronavirus, but also the pandemic on African-American men. So we got a great panelist, and I'm very excited to gain some insight from them on their presence in the community and their role as role models and father figures.
Yeah. Tell us what you do. Tell us who you are and what you do. Tell us about you, Nate.
So, okay. Father of three. I got three, family of five. My oldest is 9. I got 2 black boys, who I am currently raising. Entrepreneur at heart, work here at Prairie View A&M University with the Cooperative Extension Program as a program extension specialist. So in my day-to-day, I'm pretty much out in the community, taking the university throughout the state of Texas, implementing programs that focus on small business development, youth entrepreneurship, and home ownership. From a small town, just relocated here to Texas 3 years ago. And just like many my mentors have played a very important role in my life. Doc students. So just thank them for keep pushing me times I want to give up. So it's so important to have those mentors in our life to keep us pushing.
Yeah. Nate, we have an amazing cohort 13, the education leadership and counseling program within the Whitlow R. Green College of Education at Prairie View A&M University, Texas, United States of America, 2020 year by Lord, all the things we can say. We have such an amazing cohort and a truly dynamic program. We've just completed our first year in the PhD program as educational leaders. And Nate, tell us one thing about your experience so far that you didn't expect to gain being in this program?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the sacrifice, the demand, right? The resilience that I have to apply each and every day. Like, I think it's an internal fight that I go through every day whenever you go through a PhD program. And sometimes you have these internal voices that tell you, man, this is enough. I don't want to finish. But I think the commitment to greatness, realizing that a doctoral degree is not for me, it's for my community, it's for me to um, embed knowledge, inspire knowledge, disseminate knowledge into the community. So one of the things I learned that going through this PhD program is this commitment is not for me. It's for my kids. It's for so it's for that little boy, black boy out there that, looking for opportunities and looking for opportunity to advance his educational level, looking to take his gifts, his traits, his personality to the next level. So just trying to stay resilient and just trying to keep myself. I always tell myself that my life is not my life. So realizing that, really helped me push past some of those doubts and imposter syndromes that I, kind of battle each day.
Man, say a thing. We just had an episode about imposter syndrome, and it's interesting you bring that up. In that, I too have I've had this first year. I went into the program with the arrogance that what I knew was enough. I went into the first year of the program thinking I've worked in higher ed for 26 years. Right. And I've done a few things and I've been a few places and I've worked with, important people. And this is a 2.5 year exercise. What was I thinking? And in great part because, and the Love Fest continues, we have such a dynamic and extraordinary collective of professors and leaders in that program who are shaping us, and then not only shaping us, but challenging us. Okay, yeah, you know that thing, but did you think about this? Or have you considered that? And then all of a sudden you go home and rip up all your books and burn it up like you just met Nina Simone because you don't even want to do this no more. And so then the exciting part becomes what happens next? What new thing will I learn and what challenge will be in front of me? And so that's been my particular joy and challenge at the same time, is just getting out of my own way and letting the new stuff come. Right. Well, Nate, thank you so much. Hang in there. We're going to send you back to the backstage, and we are going to get into the reading of the episode tonight. Just before I get into it, just one quick last thing. You've met quite a few. You've heard me introduce quite a few of my colleagues who are a part of the PhD program with me at Prairie View A&M University and HBCU. Every step we take is well affirmed. And the work that we're doing, as Nate said, it's not just for what we're gaining for ourselves today, but we are building towards tomorrow. And I think that's a great celebration for Father's Day, for Mother's Day, for every day. Right. And so, for everyone who's participated so far, who've been a part of the cohort, who are a part of the cohort, I just want to give you an extra special thank you, because I know all of our time is taxed with all the assignments that we're doing and the writing that we're doing and the research we're doing. But I can't say without any more love, thank you. And I appreciate you. OK, let's read. Let's get into Russell tonight. Our talent reading tonight are three amazing people who are just going to treat you to some wonderful storytelling tonight. First up, we have Clay Christopher, who is reading in the role of Russell. Yes, this young, gorgeous man is going to read Russell tonight, and you're gonna experience his genius. He is a 2009 graduate of the American Musical and Dramatic Academy in Los Angeles. In fact, he was one of my students when I taught at AMDA. Since then, Clay has been a performer at Disneyland and Universal Studios. He also serves as program director and acting faculty with the Broadway Theater Project. Clay most recently held the position of cruise director for Norwegian Cruise Line. His awards include Best Actor in Pittsburgh Film Festival, The Complex. I think the Complex was the name of the project. Excellent. We also have Daryl Johnson coming back and joining us again tonight in the role of Cliff. You know Daryl quite well, and you will continue to get to know him. Daryl Johnson is currently the state sales manager for One Sales Health, as well as the principal owner of Johnson Jones Benefits, and a former legislative consultant with more than 30 years experience in the Texas legislature and in Congress. Daryl was the executive director for the Texas Legislative Black Caucus and the Texas House of Representatives. And he has resided in Prairie View for the last 15 years with his family. And just an amazing guy who spends a lot of his time actually hanging out with cohort 13 over in Delco on campus. And I know he's building on some great things himself too there at Prairie View. And I'm just so fortunate to have him in my life. And then finally, we'd like to introduce Trish Brodaksilva. Trish is playing the role of Donna. Trish is a teacher at a community college in Southern California, as well as a coach to the speech and debate team there. Having competed in collegiate forensics herself, Trish has always enjoyed stepping into the roles of others and bringing them to life through empathy, understanding, and humor. Now, as a teacher of public speaking and communication studies, she helps others find strength in their own voices. And it just so happens that Trish is also my sister-in-law. And so this is a family affair again tonight. On Monday night, you met my younger sister as a part of the panel. And tonight you're meeting Michelle's younger sister as a part of this amazing, amazing cast. And tonight with that, we will read chapter 8, Russell. The house is quiet. The rhythmic hum of the respirator, helping Russell breathe, interrupts the stillness. The afternoon sun peeks through the bedroom window, and the curtains allow separate shafts of light, illuminating the dancing dust hanging in the air. There is no movement in the house since Anna's passing. No one thinks to dust the arrangement of family photos on the mantle or dust the large white family Bible on the coffee table since Anna passing. Anna took care of those things. She took care of the house. She took care of Russell. The afternoon nurse, Donna, props Russell's body up against a freshly fluffed pillow. He has company. He looks forward to having company. The days are long alone, and he hates how quiet the house is.
Russell, you have a guest.
Who is it, Donna?
Ain't nobody but the tax man.
Take it. I won't need it soon enough.
Oh, come on now, Dad. You're doing fine.
Cliff sits in the brown, soft leather club chair next to the bed. Donna pulls the curtains fully to the room, increasing the light on the dancing dust performance.
Hey, Pop, you should have someone come and wipe down the house from time to time. This dust can't be good for you.
I'm fine, son. I'm not going to bother anyone with a little bit of dust. Maybe if my grandkids came to see me, dust wouldn't have time to settle. No one comes to visit me anymore.
Yeah, well, we hardly see the kids anymore ourselves. They're off raising their own families and Skyping when they can.
And you?
And me? What about me, Pop?
Where are you?
I'm right here. I'm right here, Dad.
He's fine. He's talking today. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm fine, son. And I do believe I asked you a question.
Pop, maybe you should rest.
All I do is rest. I ask you where you are and you tell me to rest. You don't tell me to rest. I tell you to rest. How are you going to tell me when to rest? I'll rest when I feel like resting.
Dad, I did not come here to fight with you. I don't want to get all worked up, and I don't want you to get all worked up.
I'm not worked up or upset, Cliff.
You have to be careful. You just have to be careful.
So don't tell me to rest. I can't. I can't because your brother needs me to.
Dad.
Your brother needs me to.
Dad.
He's not going to.
Pop.
Cliff, stop it. Stop trying to handle me. I know what I'm doing. Theo is going to be fine. Anna doesn't believe me, and I need you to stop trying to handle me. Theo is going to be fine.
Is something wrong with Theo, Dr. Huxtable?
No, Donna. No, my son Theo was named after my brother James Theodore Huxtable. He died when he was 7.
And you didn't do anything to save him, Cliff.
He is in a clear state of dementia.
You're the big doctor. You should have saved him.
Dad, stop it now.
You didn't look after your brother.
Dad, you need to rest.
And there you go, because you know what's best.
I don't know what to say right now. You're not yourself. I want to stay and sit with you, but...
But you have to go? You just got here. How are you, son? How are my grandbabies?
The kids are fine, Pop. Everyone's fine.
Good. That's good. You talked to your brother lately? Well, have you?
I don't know how to answer that, Pop. James is gone.
No, he's not. He's not. I just talked to him this morning. He said, you two are going fishing today. You promised him. He said you were going to take him fishing and swimming. He's very excited, you know.
Has he been talking about James, Theo, to you lately?
No, I've never heard him mention anyone named James. The only Theo I know anything about is your son.
I'm right here. You know, I can hear you. I can talk. I can speak for myself.
Okay, good. Good. What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about... Hey, son. When did you get here?
I just walked in, Pop. It's good to see you. You're looking good.
I feel pretty good. I do. How's Claire?
Claire's fine. She's doing just fine.
Well, good. That's good. Anna and I are going to go over and see her. You finally had a boy. I know you must be happy.
Yes, happy. Very proud.
You take good care of him now, son. The world will try to swallow a black male child up whole. You teach him, bring him up strong so he doesn't get swallowed up.
I will, Pop.
They don't want him to grow up to be a man.
Who is they, Pop?
You don't know? Them white... I'm sorry. Ma'am, who are...
Donna. Russell? It's Donna?
Donna. Yes, Donna. Would you mind giving me and my son a little privacy?
Of course, Russell. I'll be in the kitchen if you need anything.
Okay, honey, okay. And you can call me Slide. All the ladies do.
Oh, no. No, I think Russell will have to do. I'll make you two some tea.
Thanks, Donna.
Don't tell Anna I had some other woman in here.
Don't worry, I won't.
That woman is feistier than a wildcat.
I would not know about that.
Yeah. She told me she loves me.
Who? Donna?
No, Anna. Anna told me she loves me.
She loves you? She does?
Yeah. But she told me today, just this morning.
You saw her?
Well, of course, son. Just this morning, you missed breakfast. She and James said that you were still sleeping. Said you came home late and was still sleeping. James said you promised to take him out to the lake today. It's hot, so be careful.
He said that? Huh?
Yeah. Be careful out there in that water now. You know your brother can't overdo it. His heart can't take a whole lot of messing about.
Okay, Pop. We'll be careful.
And look out for your brother. Look out for him because that lake is deep and it's dark, and you know that
he can't swim.
Exactly right. And so you have to be careful and you have to look out for your brother. Now, he's very excited to go out with you today. I'm trusting you, Cliff. I'm trusting you. Don't cry, son. He's all right. He's okay. He's with your mother. I saw them this morning and he said he's okay.
Cliff looks into Russell's eyes. He searches Russell's face for fear and worry. But all he sees is calm and peace. Cliff knows he will lose his father today.
Dad?
No, son, don't worry. I see the worry, but it's okay. James doesn't blame you. His big brother took him fishing, took him swimming. He lost his step and slipped into the water, and it swallowed him. It swallowed him up.
I tried to get to him. I couldn't. I couldn't swim to him fast enough. He got pulled out of my reach, and I couldn't.
I know, son. It's okay. But you know what? James is all right. He's okay.
Is he, Pa? Is he okay?
You needn't worry. He is just fine.
Cliff rests into his father's chest and released all of his pain. He wraps his arms around his father, clinging to the man who taught him how to be a father. Russell rests his left arm across Cliff's back while his right arm relaxes by his side. Cliff can feel the life leaving Russell as his arm is resting heavier and heavier across Cliff's back. And with his final breath, Russell leaves his life.
Anna.
And Cliff squeezes a little tighter and mourns the passing of the father who taught him. Thus ends the reading of chapter 8, Russell. Wow. Thank you all. Thank you three so much for reading such an extraordinary chapter tonight. Yeah. Let me have a moment with Trish because I think the fellas are going to sit and sit with Nate for a while. So let me talk to Trish one-on-one for a little bit. And then Trish and I are going to duck off so that the fellas can have the space and talk. Hey, how you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Excellent. Excellent. Great job today.
Thanks. Thank you for the opportunity. I was absolutely honored, and it's just so amazing to be a part of this project. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you doing it. I certainly do. How was Father's Day yesterday? How did your family hang out and play a bit after we finished rehearsal?
After rehearsal, it was good. Actually, we didn't do a whole lot. My husband doesn't like to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I made his favorite breakfast. I made his favorite dinner. He got some Legos, and honestly, that's what we did. We played Legos all day and watched Star Wars.
That's a good day. That's a good day. Do y'all still have it so that the lights change to the music and the sound of the movie?
The Hue light system.
Jeff and Trish have an amazing light system in their house where when they're watching a movie, all the lights change colors and bounce around to like what you see on the TV. It's pretty awesome.
It's really cool. That's all him. That's his thing. He loves it. And I'm just along for the ride for it.
I can dig it. Before we push off, every episode, I ask all of our guests, who is your favorite Huxtable and which one were you most like? And because you and I will not be participating in the panel in a few minutes, and I don't have another opportunity to talk to you, I'd like to know who's your favorite Huxtable and which one, if different, were you most like?
Wow. I've been thinking about this question, and it kind of always comes back to Claire. I love her. I think she was amazing. As a kid, I always thought, wow, what a great mom. Now I'm a mom. I'm like, wow, she really was a great mom. Even past that, just as a woman and just kind of developing into what my truth is and seeing how amazingly and honorably she lived hers, she's just a great person that I kind of always really admired and always really fell back on. There's this one scene when she's bringing coffee out to Dr. Huxtable, and one of the daughter's boyfriends, I think it was Kelvin, is like, ooh, yeah, bring the tea. And she's like, no, hold on a minute. And she lays into him and goes on to this whole explanation of how she's bringing her husband tea because he brought her, coffee because he brought her coffee, and that marriage is a give and take. And when one person can't pick it up, that's what the other person does. And you just switch roles, and it's about making sure that you both get to the finish line because you're a team. And that really hit with me. And I was like, wow, yeah, I want that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so, I've really kind of always admired her. But who do I think I'm most like? Ooh, I'd probably say Denise.
Yeah.
Just outside of the box of what the family wants, what they expect, what they demand.
Sure.
Definitely tried to follow my own path. Hit some bumps along the way, but she led me to a different world, and literally and figuratively, right, with her show. And so that just opened up a world that I never knew of, and I'm so thankful for, because it really helped me kind of understand what was going on around me.
Yeah. Wow. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for participating today.
Thank you. Absolutely.
And kiss your family for me. And
I will.
I'll let your sister know. Well, she's upstairs watching right now anyway. So she's,
Hi.
she's clapping you up as well. But I love you, and thank you so much for participating.
Absolutely. Thank you for the chance, the opportunity. Love you.
Hey.
Have a good read or a good panel.
Thank you. All right. So before I go, I'd like to introduce our panelists to you, and then I'll say hi to those to the panelists, and then I'll turn it over to Nate. So included in our panel, you've met Nate already. Our panel tonight, we're looking at where do we find our role models, and especially as it relates to African American men, the relationships with their fathers, and wherever they find mentors in their lives. Nate will be joined by Dr. Fred A. Bonner II. Dr. Bonner is an East Texas native. He graduated with a BA in chemistry from the University of North Texas, a master's in curriculum and instruction from Baylor University, and holds an EDD from the University of Arkansas in higher education administration. He currently serves as professor and endowed chair in the College of Education at Prairie View A&M University. And this man actually has his fingerprints on the success of Cohort 13 and all that we do. Dr. Bonner is one of our professors, one of our mentors, one of our advisors, and dare I say, one of our greatest champions at Prairie View. And so I'm so thankful that he's given us some time tonight. We also have Danny Harvey, who's joining us tonight. He's also a faculty member at Prairie View A&M University. I have come to know Danny because of his energy. This man is a dynamic ball of motivation and just, get your whole life. And then when he told me what his nickname is, or what his moniker is, it made perfect sense. Danny Harvey is also known as the educator motivator. How accurate could that be? Danny is the director of the financial planning program and finance instructor at the College of Business at Prairie View A&M University. He is a motivational speaker, he's a professional speaker. He has a TED Talk. He's delivered keynote addresses all over the place. He's presented at the New York Federal Reserve Bank, and Columbia University's Teacher College. He's done 11 different things. He holds an undergraduate degree from Texas A&M and obtained an MBA from the University of Houston. He serves as the deacon ministry. He serves in the deacon ministry at Brook Hollow Baptist Church and is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I can see him backstage giving me the side eye right now. My God, my bad. You know what? And Nate's probably going to come back and fix that for us also, since he's also a Kappa. And I know you guys will have all that to celebrate. We also have Derek Sean back with us again today. Derek is a phenomenal actor. He's a panelist tonight. I still have the thing where it says he was Martin. Well, if you missed it last week, he portrayed the role of Martin during the Olivia chapter. But tonight he is back as a panelist. He's a Tennessee native. Go Titans. Derek Sean has worked in film, television, print. I've had the great experience of directing him in a couple projects, and I'm just so happy to have him back tonight. And then, we have Clay and Darryl joining the panel as well this evening. So what I would love to do is have our panelists come forward and just let me put eyes on all of you and say thank you so much for participating. StreamYard only allows 6 people at a time on the screen. So as soon as Laura takes me out, she's going to bring Darryl in, and that will be our panel for this evening. Nate, thank you again for leading this talk. And with that, I'll turn it over to Nate.
Thank you. Thank you, TDB. Thank you for passing the baton. Before we dive in, I just want to say, how you doing, gentlemen? How are you? How's everybody?
Doing good.
Doing well.
Good.
Well, happy Father's Day. I hope you guys had a great Father's Day. If you're not a father, I just want to thank you guys for stepping in as designated drivers to impact the lives in the community and our African-American men. So we want to kind of dive into chapter 8. This is a very seminal piece of this episode, and it speaks to the current climate that we're currently in with the pandemic of African-American men. So I want to kind of open the floor up, and I want to ask you guys, over the course of your life, looking back on your life experiences, your trajectory, how has mentorship played an important role in your life? And how do you find mentors? And, how can we tell people that, Black men, we matter? Our skin is not a sin. So I just wanted to kind of open it up to you guys, give you guys an opportunity to kind of spark this conversation centered around mentorship and Black fathers within our communities and households. So, I mean, no certain order, so anybody can kind of take the course and take the lead.
Well, I'll start off. Just being from the South, I grew up in a very unorthodox family where there's a lot of men in my family, a lot of strong men, and I had very good mentors because no one drank, no one smoked, no one cursed. And I mean, that's weird being from the South, but that's what I had. That's what I grew up with. So it kind of gave me an idea of what I wanted to be to the young men as I was coming up, and the example that I wanted to be, because when you have good mentors, it sort of gives you a blueprint to what to offer to someone else that doesn't have that. So I really appreciate the men in my family.
Thank you. Thank you, Derek. Anybody else would like to share?
Well, I guess I'll speak. I grew up as well in the South, and mentoring was extremely important to my success. However we want to define success, but I was able to receive this mentorship with the understanding that I would pass it on, and I will take this moment to thank my brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi out there, my brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha out there, Dr. Bonner. I'm personally a member of Phi Beta Sigma, but the fact that our fraternities have also started establishing mentorship programs. We have what's the Sigma Beta Club, where we mentor about 1.8 million young men between 8 and 18. throughout the continental United States. It's important that, just like myself, I got to see professional men. It's important that the next generation also gets to see professional men. And even at the age of gray hair, I still need to have mentors like Fred Bonner, who helped me make it through a lot of days.
Yeah. For me, I'll be honest, initially, mainly being raised by a single mom, that was my, biggest mentor and supporter champion was my mom, my grandma. And then growing up in church, she had deacons in church, and some of my teachers when I was young were Black men. I went to a little small church school that I was blessed to go to. And so that kind of helped shape me. And then, I'm always was just, looking at people, observing them, asking questions, how they did these things. And, I noticed that started giving me information and insight. And as I got older, what I realized is if you see somebody, doing something that's great and you want to do it, you should talk to them and ask them how they do it, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So I take that, same attitude today. I'm like you, even though I don't have a lot of gray, I have a few in there, but I just tell the Lord, he can turn it white. Just don't take it from me, Lord. But, I still look for that today. And, you always want to grow and try to find somebody who's doing what you want to do and see how they do it.
It seems like we're all kind of from the same type of background. I'm also from the South, if you consider Florida the South, although sometimes it feels like the southernmost northern state with all the snowbirds we have. My mom and my father got divorced when I was 3. So my mother was and continues to be my biggest mentor. And if we are always in the constant state of understanding that learning never ends, then mentors should be and can be found anywhere. My dad is a huge mentor to me. He's someone who has taught me to not sweat the small things. My grandfather, my mom's father, was a Pentecostal pastor for 30 years, and then he became a Florida state politician for several years. Of course, I look up to him, and also I grew up in church. We all seem to have somewhat of that going on for us. And, like I said, if you continue to understand that learning never ends, I found one of my best friends and greatest mentors 10 years ago. I was directing a show here locally, and I met a wonderful woman named Deb McWaters, and she brought me in as her assistant, and I started training under her at Broadway Theater Project here in Tampa. She's the associate choreographer for the current running revival on Broadway of Chicago, the musical. And the amount of knowledge that I have learned from her, and her having worked with some amazing African-American men like Ben Vereen and Gregory Hines. I mean, just titans of the theatrical and film industry. Understanding that I can always learn has really benefited me in that way, finding mentors, because like it was mentioned before, when you see greatness happening, you have to take the opportunity to seek that out and learn.
Okay, Dr. Bonner.
I have been uniquely blessed. I'm also a product of the South, and I'm a Texan and a proud East Texan. So East Texans always want you to know they're from East Texas. So I'm from East Texas. My hometown, Jefferson, Texas, is in this region of Texas called the Arklatex, where Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas meet. And I have been, I was blessed to grow up with multiple Black male mentors. My hometown originally had a Black high school, Central High. And when they integrated with Jefferson High, a lot of the Black teachers moved over from Central High to Jefferson High. And I was blessed to have multiple Black male teachers. When I see folks posting things asking, did you ever have a Black male teacher? When was your first Black male teacher? And most people, it's very, very rare. It's like, oh, I never had one. I had one, I had two. I had no less than 12 to 15 Black teachers across my P12 experience, and not just Black males in those roles that we typically think of Black males, the coach or the history teacher or some of the social science areas. I had Black teachers who were math teachers, who were science teachers, who a whole range, and being blessed to have all those Black male role models. And as my good brother said earlier, I grew up with Southern Black men who didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't curse. You know, the few Black men I knew that did drink in the neighborhood, a 6-pack of beer would last them like 2 months. So they drink a beer here and there when they cut the yard, but never, I didn't grow up with all those trappings, all the stereotypes that we see or that we hear about Black men. So all of my Black male role models were from my research on I like males, and I talk a lot about, we always tend to focus on deficits when we look at Black males, but my research focuses on assets, high achieving Black males, or those who are talented, those who are gifted. And that's what I grew up with. My Black role models, my Black male role models, they were talented, they were gifted. You know, they didn't have manifest these deficits that we see or that we hear folks talk about. So many times, you know, when I moved beyond my little East Texas enclave and started to hear the narrative or see the narrative, just not on the TV, but in real time, how Black people thought about Black males, that was foreign to me.
Thank you, Dr. Bummer. Yeah, I learned a lot from your class as how we perceive and how we examine African-American males, right? From, you know, the rappers to, you know, the artists or to the people who may do illegal activities. We realize that we all have, we all gifted in some fashion, some form or fashion. So I kind of want to shift the focus now. I want to kind of let us kind of resonate and think about this episode. And I really want to kind of talk to you, Clay and Darryl, about the core relationship between a father and their son. So if you guys don't mind, please share how this episode in particular kind of resonated with you all. If as a mentor, as a father, can you share some insight on why was this episode so powerful as it explores the different angles of a relationship between a father and son?
Well,
go ahead, Daryl.
Okay, Clay.
No, please.
I know I give way to my father.
Well, thank you, son. This episode, it has such an important impact, I think, on all of us as far as the actors went, and of course Teresa and all of us, because it's so much more than just Russell and Cliff's relationship. Cliff is dealing with his father and seeing his father who is suffering from dementia, and realizes that it's his last day that he's going to see his father. And for me, it hits home. I lost both of my great grandparents. One of them had Parkinson's, and the other who passed away last October, I believe my great grandmother, she had the beginnings of dementia. And when Teresa told me that I was going to be taking on the role of Russell, and remembering back from reading the book when it originally came out, I knew how hard it was going to hit for me and how hard it was going to hit for others. But this relationship is very special. And as I was telling Teresa and my fellow castmates the other day, most of us grew up with this incredible show. For many of us, even though I was born in '89, I'm 31 years old, so I watched most of the Cosby Show in syndication. But for a lot of us, Cliff and Claire Huxtable were the parents of America, and Russell and Anna were our grandparents. And you can just see how electric their relationship is, Cliff and Russell's. The way that they would play together, Bill Cosby and Earl Hyman, it was so important, and it showed that a relationship between a African-American father and son could be fun, it could be serious, it could be cherished. And again, going back to Cliff is always learning from Russell, and Russell's always learning from Cliff. It's just such a beautiful story that Teresa has developed past the show, and I'm so appreciative of it.
Daryl, what about you? Could you
By the
talk?
way, just
Sorry, I'm getting some feedback.
okay, for me, this role was sort of different. I did not lose my father or my grandfather to or my mentor, the former governor Mark White, to an illness. They all died of old age. My dad tragically died in an automobile accident, but I am now sort of experiencing this with and I hope he don't mind me sharing this, the former dean of the math department, Dr. Frank T. Hawkins, as he's going through testing for cancer, and now I have all these emotions that I never experienced, because all the men and that were really in my life died of old age or an accident. I guess God truly blessed them, but it was difficult having that dialogue with Clay, because now I'm having these look back dialogues, and whereas we put a smile on and we always say it's in God's hands, it's a funny hurt, and yeah, it's just different.
Danny, I want to kind of pick your brains for a minute, because I read a lot about you, and of course, we share a bond that's very special, Kappa Alpha Psi. But what type of mentorship programs do you have here on campus, and how involved do you think the church should be in the community in adopting African American men and raising them and cultivating them and nurturing them, especially if they grow up in a single family home?
Right. So I think I have to say first, I think churches being involved is a great thing. I always tell my boys, I try to build this thing into them. Trust dad, because dad's not going to steer you wrong. But at the same time, dad isn't perfect. Dad doesn't know everything. The only person that's perfect is Jesus Christ. So whenever you have that as your kind of guiding star, Jesus, and then obviously put some people in there under that, and I guess in Black company, we think it's Jesus, then Obama, right? But seriously though, nobody's perfect. So if the church is involved, you have the, Jesus, that person that you're looking to, then that's the perfect model. That's how you should live. Everybody else is just trying to get there and will come up short. So I think the church is definitely instrumental in mentoring, just because of the principles and ideals. And again, I'm not pushing any beliefs on anybody, but if you read the scripture, I mean, some of the stuff is just basic living, doing the right thing. So, but as far as other programs, things on campus, I'm real big, with obviously financial education and making sure people in our community, people and young people in general know how to manage money. So I believe it should be it's a tiered approach where you can have a college student mentoring a high school student or passing on knowledge, because it's a certain level of respect that exists in that relationship, but it's also a closeness. So now it's more like a big brother, big cousin. So it doesn't always have to be that father-son figure relationship, and you can get a whole lot out of it. So I think, that's what I feel about, kind of like what I have going on, and then obviously the church being involved. Because again, like I said, it was great for me. And I have my boys in church. They actually just finished VBS online.
Nice. Leading by example. Dr. Bonner, I got a question for you. If you look at the script, Russell tells his son, especially when he finds out, he asks about Claire and he also asks about Theo, but he says, "You take good care of him, son. This world will try to swallow a black child up whole." What do you think Russell is saying, and how can this resonate to your calling, some of your research, and your agenda within the community?
Oh, absolutely, Nate. Really good question. It resonates with me in a lot of different ways. Again, and spending all my career working on and looking at what it means to be Black, male, academically gifted and talented. And the counter to that has been the traditional narrative that we've had and that we've been espousing, that Black males are not, they're not successful, they're not achieving, they're criminal, they're violent. And the world, has enveloped Black males with this negativity or this deficit-based modeling and deficit-based thinking, that I wanted to tell a very different narrative and a very different story about Black males. And I said, we spend a lot of time looking at Black males who are on the precipice of disaster, so we think. But what about those Black males who are achieving, about those who are successful? How can we reframe? How can the world envelop them with assets and show their potential, as opposed to wrapping them in these bundles of deficits and saying that they're not achieving? And I think that particular statement, that was his way of saying that you must protect these Black males. You must protect the Black male, because the world is a mean place, and it's particularly mean as it treats and as it interfaces with Black men. A lot of that comes from stereotypical notions. It comes from a lack of knowledge. It comes from a deficit narrative that we have painted these Black males into a corner. And, my book, Building on Resilience, it focuses on Black male models and frameworks. And one of my, the opening is a letter to Black males that was penned by, I'm blocking on the name right now, pastor in Chicago, Otis Moss, Reverend Otis Moss. So he penned the open letter to Black males, and he made such a powerful, powerful statement. He said that for Black males, we need to know that deficits are not their destiny. And too often we track our Black males into this, notion of deficits, and then that becomes their destiny because we lock them into that. So how do we envelop and create opportunities for Black males to be successful, to know success? And the reason I put that book together is that I wanted everybody to have, there were so many people out there doing Black male initiatives, Black male rites of passage programs, Black male tanks, but no one had like a theoretical and philosophical base upon which they were basing these programs. So I wanted folks to have some clear guidelines. So that entire book is about models and frameworks for people to really encapsulate and really have some strong foundational models to base what they're doing by way of Black males on. Because that statement says that, we have to envelop them, we have to protect them. And one of the ways we can do that is to arm ourselves with knowledge and to truly have a strong foundation that starts to change that model from deficits to assets.
Thank you, Dr. Bonner. Okay, Darryl.
You're welcome.
I think we got representation from 3 great fraternities here, and I had a question just came in. So, especially going through this COVID-19 situation, I know I faced a lot of anxiety, just a lot of different challenges. So, if you guys can speak from the fraternity's perspective, how are our fraternities organizing, especially around COVID-19, to keep our youth active? Darryl, you mentioned a mentorship program. So how do you keep these programs rolling in this day and age, in this state, in this pandemic, in COVID-19, and like I say, this pandemic on the lives of African American men? What are these organizations doing to reach back and connect to these young men? going through COVID-19?
That's a brilliant question, and ironically, I called a friend of mine, Michael Deary, who's a Noop from University of Texas, and he is affiliated. I think y'all call it the Kappa League, but I asked him the same question. I said, "What do I do with my young men in the chapter that we just started? How do I not lose them because of what's going on? Because we're not going to be able to get together, and technology is really interesting. I've been able to with our Sigma Beta Club, I've been able to have web conversations with Emmett Smith, with Jerry Rice, some amazing people that will keep their interest, and it allows us to still communicate with the next generation and do just what Dr. Bonner's talking about. Talk about building on brilliance. Talk about how it's a half, the glass is half full instead of half empty, and how to be number one, a good person, and then a great man, and on top of that, an exceptional Black man. So we have been using technology to father the things we do. It does not by any means make up for the field trips that we've been missing. But we have lemons and we've been making lemonade.
Nice.
Yeah, if I may jump in on that, I know technology is the way to go. I actually had the pleasure of engaging some youth on the Ag Business Scholars program that they have every year. And obviously they're usually at Prairie View, but they're doing it virtual this year. And they even organized a virtual field trip for them with the USDA company or something of that nature. But again, it's leveraging technology and getting the message. Obviously, you have to stay at them because they're on Zoom and at home. But the opportunity is still there to engage them and try to have that impact.
Right. Thank you, Danny. Derek, have a question for you. I'm not sure if you're a member of a fraternity, but share some organizations, or can you share your involvement in mentorship, or just as a father? I'm not sure if you're a father as well, but I just wanted to get your insight on some of the things that you do in the community as well.
Okay, well, I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and the reason I say behind the scenes is like sometimes we get into this pattern of look at what I'm doing, and I never want it to be about that. So a lot of times I'll like feed the homeless or mentor the young kids. One thing I do love doing is reading. I used to have these reading sessions with kids in middle school and grade schools and stuff like that, and that was one of the biggest things that I enjoyed doing, because I had that growing up. My family always read to me, and I learned to read at like 3 years old. It's always been things like that. So just whenever I get a chance, I just love just giving anything that I have or any time whatsoever.
Thank you, Derek. Gentlemen, we are coming to a close, but I thank you. This was very insightful. Thank you guys for sharing your experiences, your knowledge. Thank you for addressing the relationship and the values and the importance of mentors in our community. As we close, I have one last question for you. Would you guys please share who is your favorite Huxtable, and if different, which one are you most like?
I'll go first on this one. So I got to be a little extra. I first got to give a shout out to to Felicia Richard, Claire, because she's from the Trey, Third Ward, Texas, where I'm from. So I got to give her a shout out just on the strength of that. Okay. But no, my favorite Huxtable would be Cliff. I think just his funniness. He, good dad, good principles. I use some of the stuff still. But then I would say kind of most like would be probably, I guess, one of the friends, right? Like a cockroach or something. And I say that only because I was one of those kids where I was at a house, a friend had that kind of, 2-parent home structure. And so I was kind of, on the periphery, soaking up stuff from seeing that. And so that's why I would say I would be most like one of the friends who would come over or something like that.
Dr. Bonner.
Oh, that's a hard one. I actually thought about this one quite some time, and shoot. And before I answer, I just want to give a shout out and a thank you to TDV. Teresa is absolutely amazing. It makes it easy being a professor when you had such brilliant students like Teresa, like you, Nate, like some cohort 13 members that I see out there, Felicia. I mean, all of y'all are just amazing, and it makes my job so much easier. This sounds strange, and I really have thought about it a lot, and I keep coming back to the same Huxtable. So I would say that my favorite was probably Theo, but I think that I'm most like Vanessa. It's odd. It's something that was like slightly off center with Vanessa. It's kind of like in some ways she was awkward. She was kind of beating and doing things at beating to her own drum, and I don't know. That's how I kind of see myself. I see myself in a lot of ways as a nutty professor who is very absent-minded. Yeah, I think that I think I do good work. I think I am a pretty sharp guy and do some things, but there's a piece of me that is slightly off center, and I take pride in that. I enjoy that. It's funny. A lot of my friends on Facebook, they have I know y'all have seen this where they like just post a picture, no words, anything, post a picture of a vacation site or something. So I posted a picture and then I had like some words down there. So one of my cousins was like, "Did you not see what we said that you're not supposed to say anything?" And she's like, "You didn't follow the rules." And I'm like, "Rules? Y'all know how I am. I don't follow any rules. If there's an A and a B, I always find a C. There's always another way to do it." And I just saw Vanessa's that not fitting into any mold. She was kind of like an iconoclast doing her own thing.
Awesome. Okay, I can see that. Okay. Clay, what about you? I know you had a part playing Russell, but
yes, I did, and
you did a great job. Phenomenal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that. For me, first of all, I also would like to take a moment to thank Teresa. As she said, I am one of her former students from the American Musical and Dramatic Academy, AMDA, the Los Angeles campus, back from 2007 to 2009. And something that I always remember about Teresa is the time that she gave. There would be many classes after I finished that I would just sit in her class and it would just be me and her rapping about whatever. And that to me was one of the most important experiences of my time in that 2-year conservatory, because here she was, this wonderful African-American teacher of mine. And there weren't many at AMDA at that time. And there weren't a lot of other Black students in my class either. And this woman, this powerful, strong woman who was growing me as an actor, was taking her time to speak with me and help me understand the importance of what I bring to the table. Whenever I walk into an audition room, whenever I walk onto set, what I bring to the table is important, and Teresa gave me that wonderful tool. So I really appreciate her for that, and appreciate her for letting me be a part of this. And just really fast, as far as mentors go, I have a lot, as I said, and my current mentor, Deb, gave me this amazing book so I can also mentor my students at Broadway Theater Project, Tribe of Mentors. It's my new Bible for right now. As far as the Huxtables go, my favorite Huxtable was Claire. Without a doubt, a strong, strong woman, and I have plenty of strong women in my family. And Claire could just give you the business. She was smart. She was sexy. There was no, the man is higher than the woman. She could go toe-to-toe with Cliff, and in a lot of ways, she was more the disciplinarian than Cliff was. And I just loved that about her, especially the episode where Vanessa runs away to go see The Wretched. I might just watch that again on YouTube. The best moments ever.
Big fun in Baltimore.
All the way to see The Wretched. But with that being said, as strong as Claire is and how stiff and stern as she could be, I really feel like I am a Cliff. There is humor in everything for me. And the same is true of Cliff Huxtable. I don't remember too many scenes where something awful had happened with the kids, or something, Claire had a terrible day or anything like that, where Cliff did not bring humor into that household, no matter what. And my wife would tell you if she was here how angry she gets at me for joking about everything. I take almost nothing serious, unless it's happening to me, of course, which Cliff also would do. Anything is serious if it pertains to him, but everything else is just hilarious. And I really relate to Cliff in that sense.
Thank you, Clay. What about you, Derek?
Well, me, just like everyone else, I want to give a shout out to Teresa. I mean, just because I'm one of her biggest fans. So I'll just leave that there. But my favorite character has always been Russell, simply because I'm a big jazz fan, and he always has that vibe. Even though he's the father, he always has that cool vibe. And I found myself listening to everything he said, just because anyone who knows me knows that you cannot walk into my house without hearing Miles Davis or Thelonious Monk, because I'm just such a huge jazz fan. So Russell was always my favorite. The person that I felt that I was most like was, believe it or not, Elvin Thibodeau. Simply because growing up the way in the family that I grew up in, moving to California was a huge, huge culture shock for me. And when I first moved here, I unknowingly said a lot of inappropriate things, not meaning to, but I didn't know any better. So California, in a sense, raised me. It taught me so much because there's so much that I saw that I had never seen. There's so much that I experienced that I had never experienced. So California was sort of like a whole new world for me. And you see, Elvin, he's always saying the wrong thing, but his intentions are good. But he just always manages to say the wrong thing. But yeah, that was sort of always my thing, unintentionally. So that's what I felt that we had in common.
Thank you, Derek. Well, I just want to thank you guys for sharing insight. This has been a helpful conversation as we look at Chapter 8. So I want to thank TDV, and shortly we are about to loop her back in so she can continue the conversation as we close. But we need to keep these conversations going. We need to make sure we continually reach out to our community and be the change that we want to see, give back, impart knowledge within our communities, and mentor. So thank you guys. You guys have a blessed night, and I look forward to connecting with you guys again.
All right, great work, fellas.
All right, bye-bye. All right, TDB, where are you?
Yay,
Hey, thank you. Thank you for this
man.
opportunity. This was good. This was a much needed conversation.
I didn't want it to end. I'm sitting here watching it all
I
going.
know I was writing down questions. I still had things I wanted to ask, but I wanted to be kind of mindful of the time.
Yeah. You know, it has me thinking maybe we ought to put something together with cohort 13 where each cohort member hosts some sort of panel of choice. Like we all get together and we do a series where each of us host a panel of choice, and we continue some of these conversations because first of all, you did an outstanding job.
Appreciate it.
Did an outstanding job as
Appreciate
a
it.
moderator. And
Thank you, T. I'm
man,
taking notes. I'm learning from the great.
but I think there's something there. I think maybe as a part of our way of building our community, reaching out to other researchers. The internet is a funny thing. We have access to people that perhaps we don't know today.
Right.
We'll know them tomorrow.
I think I agree.
And I think because of when the pandemic struck in the spring, I had to rethink how I taught my classes, as everyone did. But as a film teacher, I really had to, do something different because my students rely on interpersonal experiences, using equipment, being in the space with each other to collaborative art. And when all that was taken away, I put together a lecture series via Zoom. And that then essentially kind of gave way to moving into this series. And maybe it's something we do as a cohort, that we put together a series and we keep it simple. We don't have to be anything extravagant, but it allows us to continue to network and grow our community of researchers and scholars and, folk who want to see a shift in the world. I
agree. The space, the atmosphere is ripe. I think the timing is right, and it gives us an opportunity to share our voice, and it gives us an opportunity to kind of shed light on some of our passions and our purposes. Because now, like I was saying, now there's no excuse, and we need to kind of take advantage of this shift that we're seeing in the economy. And we just need to run with it, right? It's beautiful. And I'm just thankful to, be in cohort 13 and just thankful for our professors, just as I kind of reflect on COVID-19, just look at how innovative our professors are in this program. They're keeping the ball rolling, so I definitely want to give them a shout out.
Absolutely.
For keeping us motivated, keeping us on track.
Well, the university at large, when you look at PV as an institution, and certainly under the leadership of President Ruth Simmons,
everything falls and rises on leadership. And we got the best leader. Ruth the Truth. She's great.
The Truth, indeed. That's what we need to do. We as a cohort need to all figure out how we're going to interview her on this. I try as best as I try.
Right.
I've been successful once.
Right.
That lady is busy. She's busy.
I agree.
But we see what she's doing. She's getting HEB involved in our growth, and she's getting the school and the Texas A&M system paying attention to who we are and what we do. And, we are incredibly lucky to have great leadership.
I agree.
Nate, brother, thank you again. I appreciate you tonight.
Thank you.
Feel free to come back anytime. We still have a few more episodes left to go.
How many more episodes?
So we have the twins coming up on Thursday, and then next week we have 2 episodes next week, and then we have 2 more episodes. So we have 5 episodes altogether. I was going to get into who's coming down the pike a little bit later. I'll let that there's some surprises here and there.
Oh, my question to you, do you rest? Because you You keep me motivated. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like I'm trying to keep up with y'all. I did pull an all-nighter last night. I did have a paper I needed to turn in to Dr. Hoffman Miller, and I said, let me just stay up. So I probably will like pass all the way out as soon as this is over. But
Right.
you know, I think because of COVID, we're home so much that I feel like, oh, I get this email and all of a sudden I'm back in my office. Oh,
Right.
or I get this text message and I'm reading this other article that someone sent me or this, you know, whatever. And so it doesn't feel like it stops. And I feel like I am busier now than when we were in full session, but
It's funny. I feel the same way. I
right?
feel like I do more work at home than I did at the 9 to 5. So,
Well,
but it's good. It's
you're
good.
constantly looking forward and figuring out ways to economically empower our
Right.
community. And so I know that work never ends and you are constantly keeping pace. So I appreciate you on that front.
Oh, it's a passion, it's a purpose, and it's a calling.
Yeah, brother. All
Yeah.
right. I'm gonna introduce the show for next week and then we're gonna get up out of here because
All right, good night. I'm still at work.
yeah, go home. You're
All
talking
right,
about me. Go home.
I know, right? All right, thank you again for the
Thank
opportunity.
you.
All right.
My pleasure. All right, people. So that pretty much does it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. The conversation online has been just phenomenal. I see, my students are online chiming in. I see cohort 13 online chiming in. Yes, Valicia. Hell yeah, cohort 13. 13 is a very lucky number. Like it's a good number. I know people are, 7, 5, 2, whatever the numbers are, 13. 13 is it, baby. We changing the world. Join us on Thursday as we introduce our twins, Winnie and Nelson. You did meet Juwan Jennings tonight. He will be portraying the role of Nelson. We will be seeing Winnie as portrayed by Danae Davis. Those two, as you can see here on the graphic, will be reading a bunch of letters that were passed between Cliff and Claire in their younger days, as well as some additional letters that we didn't know were in this particular box. So join us on Thursday as we talk about secrets and lies, what qualifies as cheating. Woo! We have Dr. Derek Blackwell, who is one of my colleagues at Prairie View. He teaches in the Department of Languages and Communication. We celebrate him because he's doing some phenomenal things at the university. We also have Marla Renee Stewart, who will be joining us, a phenom when it comes to relationship and sex and sexuality and all the good stuff. Ooh, this conversation is going to be so good on Thursday. And then Michelle Dowell-Vest. Yes, the only other Dowell-Vest on planet Earth. That would be my wife, Michelle, who will be joining the panel on Thursday, as well as we talk about relationships, secrets and lies, tricks and stunts. Splits and donkey kicks. The twins come across some juicy in the Huxtable family, and you don't want to miss it. I think, up until now, we've had a lot of it's called the death of Cliff Huxtable. So as you could imagine, it's the funeral and it's the repast and it's loss and this. So please join us on Thursday as we lift spirits a little bit and bring back a little bit of levity and a little bit of comedy, even as we move into the last 5 episodes of this series. Thank you again for joining us tonight, and we'll see you on Thursday. All right. Bye.